Hello, nice to see you again in my latest video. In today's video I would like to share with you how Ohio-class nuclear submarines can destroy a country in a few minutes of America. In April 1979 at General's East Dock in Connecticut, in the presence of government officials, a submarine was launched that became an important milestone in U.S. naval history. The largest submarine built in the United States has a length of 170 meters, a volume of 18,000 tons of water, and is equipped with a huge nuclear arsenal capable of destroying an entire nation. Was the first base ship of 18 submarines that later became the basis of the U.S. 3 nuclear elements, whose performance is considered excellent even after 40 years since their appearance. Decade 1960, the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States reached its climax. We all know about the powerful rockets of that era and the space pioneers, but this race is not only about in the scientific field, but also in the military field. The emergence of intercontinental ballistic missiles has changed the balance of power, with an undeniable fact: the absolute military superiority of the United States. The United States no longer had Soviet nuclear-tipped intercontinental ballistic missiles that could hit the United States before it could react. While seeking a solution to this problem, the U.S. Department of Defense initiated extensive studies of a program called STRESS-IT, which was the beginning of the modernization of all three elements of the U.S. nuclear force. Strategic Blacktooth nuclear force on the sea and in the air. One of the Navy's deterrents is to create a large group of nuclear submarines that will perform long-term sea missions and carry large numbers of nuclear submarines. Nuclear missile. Their firing ranges would allow use from anywhere in the world. The implementation of the concept includes two parts: nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles and submarines. Work on the missiles. Nuclear was started in the 1970s. The new nuclear missile was intended to have a much greater destructive power and range than what the US had at the time, and that happened. The Trident missile 3 was born to completely meet the requirements of the military. Parallel work is also carried out on the submarine. Military and technical calculations have shown that the ideal submarine should have about 20 nuclear missiles, and considering this indicator, the US needs a submarine with a wide volume. Water about 14,000 tons. The direct work began, and in the process, the vessels became heavier and heavier, and their arsenal grew larger than the main contractor. General had upgraded his electric shipyard for this particular job. The first ship was built in 1976 and was named after the state of Ohio, and eventually this name was given to the whole new class of ships. It was expected that the U.S. Navy would receive 10 submarines of this class, but during the construction of the first one, the aspirations grew until 1981, when the SO-20 was commissioned. The U.S. Navy opened it, expanded the order to 15 units, and plans to expand further. After a few years in total, from 1981 to 1997, Generals delivered to the U.S. Navy 18 Ohio-class submarines. In the process of creating these ships, engineers faced many difficult tasks, including there is a combination of large size, low noise, durability and armament, and this has also led to the consideration of savings in operating parameters at an acceptable level, suitable for the budget. Limited book. Ohio is a third-generation American submarine. In size is a U.S. Navy record. The ship is 170 meters long with a displacement of about 18,000 tons. However, this is only a record within the United States of America. Soviet mining submarines appeared after some time, were real monsters with a displacement of up to 48,000 tons. However, despite not reaching the record size, Ohio is equipped with a record arsenal. Ohio-class submarines certainly have a record arsenal, each equipped with 24 ballistic missile launchers. Even the full air monster only has 20 tubes. This was mainly due to the high technology of the US nuclear missiles, which were much lighter and smaller than their Soviet counterparts. The first group of 8 submarines put into service before 1986 were armed with the Dragon 1C missile. basic knowledge, with a launch weight of 33 tons, they had a range of 7,400 kilometers and could be armed with 8 submarines. 100,000 capacity W-76 nuclear warhead. Starting with the 9th U.S. Tennessee submarines begin to be equipped with the more advanced traded 2D-5 missile with a range increased to 12,000 kilometers. Each new missile can include 8 warheads W-88 475 kilograms capacity, or up to 14 nuclear warheads had 76 excess capacity of 100 kilogram. The rockets can be launched at a distance of 20 seconds from a depth of 30 meters at low speeds and in light wave conditions. In theory, all 24 missiles can be launched in minimal time with a burst of waves. However, in reality, such operations have never been carried out. Technical conditions are not easy, and 24 trading rockets at the same time is too expensive. Of course, a submarine is a battleship and indispensable torpedo weapons. The classic weapon on American submarines is 4 torpedo tubes of the 48 Mark. The US-020 nuclear submarine has a single hull. The main hull is under pressure. It is the accommodation for the sailors, and most of the systems are made of high tensile steel and reinforced with a longitudinal ring frame, the entire length of the vessel on the top of the section. The pressure hull has a lighter, water-permeable hull that resembles a roof over the upper missile launch tubes. Since the second lighter hull covers only the upper part, the Ohio-class submarine is considered to have this design of a tugboat hull allows for reduced hydrodynamic noise. The bridge is tall and narrow, with the horizontal rudder placed in front of the rocket launcher. The 9 lobes are 4 shoulders forming a cross at the stern. The transverse rudders are equipped with large longitudinal modules for maximum diving depth. The submarine is a nuclear-powered submarine with a power system based on a General Electric S-8 grams reactor. With a capacity of 240 MGW, it powers 2 turbines with a capacity of 35,000 horsepower. Connected to a sports propeller, there is an 8 meters diameter propeller with the design and characteristics of the propeller still considered classified information in the US. There are also several units on board. Power and backup generators to maintain and support the systems. This enables the vessel to reach cruising speeds of up to 25 knots. A special innovation of the new generation is the low-noise, dynamic system. The engine has been seriously redesigned. The application of several operating modes that have made the ship extremely silent. This parameter is still considered excellent, even now and at the time of starting operation. In action, it was so completely unbelievable that during training sessions in the early 1980s, the equipment available at the time often simply could not detect the vessel. Even now, there are only Siphanes-class submarines. Only France can compete with Ohio in noise level. After being equipped with a very serious set of electronics and hydroacoustic equipment, the base of NBQ-6 hydroacoustic station is a spherical antenna with a diameter of 4.6 m with nearly 1,000 sensors. There are also a large number of active and passive components on board, along with an automatic information processing system. Later in the modernization of the antenna, NBQ-6 has been replaced by the latest ARM BQ-Q10. With a central station and open architecture simplifies the subsequent upgrade of ships that can generate hydrographic maps and exchange data with other ships in the fleet according to different estimates. Ohio usually patrols an area of sea 200 to 200 nautical miles in size. Mapping and observing the situation in this area of operational control can be considered relatively quiet, a way to avoid the collapse of the country. The Soviet Union became a problem for America's fleet of nuclear submarines. These ships simply had no one left to fight. The idea of building 24 ships was scrapped, and in the late 1980s was scrapped with new agreements for the reduction of strategic offensive weapons that were supposed to limit the U.S. ballistic missile fleet to 14. Meanwhile, the analysis of the U.S. Navy shows that for the goal of nuclear deterrence, they really only need 4 ships. This takes into account the fact that the first 8 ships were equipped with Dragon 1 missiles. Obsolete. The first 8 submarines have been upgraded and equipped with traded 2 missiles. More modern 4 of the 18 Ohio-class submarines have been converted to cruise missile carriers, to carry out land-based, non-nuclear missile strike support operations on the ship's 24 missile bays. 22 drills were fitted, 7 launches resulted in the ship receiving 154 missiles for the crane, or similar devices. The remaining 2 compartments have been adapted to install equipment and vehicles for performing special operations. At the same time, performance and relatively low operating costs have been achieved, making Ohio a major part of the U.S. nuclear triad. Today, these 14 Ohio-class nuclear submarines account for about 2,100 nuclear warheads, equivalent to about 60% of the total number of U.S. nuclear warheads. Up to year 121, all 18 submarines in this group are still in service, although the first one is more than 40 years old. That the Ohio class will begin to be retired in 2009 and a new class of submarines has been prepared. When Ohio retires, it will be replaced by new strategic ballistic submarines and the start of the next class, Columbia. That's the end of this video. Thank you for watching and hit the like button for the video. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our new content. Thanks and see you next time.